President of the Ivory Coast, Alassane Ouattara, has pardoned his predecessor, Laurent Gbagbo, who was facing a 20-year jail sentence for political unrest. In a statement on Saturday to mark the 62nd anniversary of the country's independence, Ouattara said it was in the interests of reinforcing social cohesion. Ouattara also asked for Gbagbo's bank accounts to be unfrozen and for his life annuity to be paid. Gbagbo became president of the Ivory Coast in 2000 but was arrested in 2011 after refusing to concede defeat in the election. Civil conflict between Gbagbo's forces and supporters of Ouattara led to the deaths of around 3,000 people. Gbagbo was acquitted by the International Criminal Court for alleged war crimes committed during the conflict. But in 2018 he was handed a 20-year jail sentence for the robbery of funds from the Abidjan Central Bank after the election. He's always denied the charges. Ouattara also agreed to release two of Gbagbo's closest associates who were convicted for their role in the post-election unrest. In 2021, after his acquittal by the ICC, Gbagbo returned from exile to the Ivory Coast and has kept a low profile since. Ouattara stood for a third term in the 2020 election, a move which critics said was unconstitutional. He's insisted that he won't exit politics until Gbagbo and his predecessor, Henri Konan Bedi, agreed to do the same. Protests have taken place in the affluent Italian town of Civitanovo Marche after a Nigerian immigrant was beaten to death in full view of the public with no one helping him. Alika Ogachukwa's widow has seen a video of the attack.
I can watch it. I saw the video. Just when the boy was struggling hard, very, very hard. My husband was struggling like this. The boy was still struggling him to death. Oh, that boy, I don't know what my husband did to him.
Police arrested a suspect but immediately ruled out a racial motive for the attack on Alika, who was a local street vendor with a history of mental illness.
I was there. I saw those people that is wearing Bianco cloth. Normally, if I saw them in news, in television, they'll lose or carry dead people. I said, these people, they are carrying dead people. Where is my husband? They said, I saw him there. He's already dead.
Black Italians are now demanding the authorities recognize the role race played in what happened to Ogachukwa. But locals have been internationally condemned for not intervening.
Any comment is superfluous because, beyond the extreme action of a person that maybe wasn't in full possession of his mental abilities, which is something the prosecutors will investigate, the most shocking aspect is the total absence of an intervention by the people watching and doing nothing.
The Nigerian government has condemned Ogachukwa's death and urged Italian authorities to bring the perpetrator to justice. In the packed 30,000-seat Nyayo Stadium in Nairobi, Kenyan presidential hopeful William Ruto has been rallying his supporters. The rags-to-riches businessman used to be seen as the establishment candidate, but after losing the support of Uhuru Kenyatta, he's now fighting back.
This day, the people of Kenya will prevail over the deep state. The people of Kenya will prevail over the system. And we are going to have a nation that leaves no Kenyan behind. It is about the empowerment of Mama Mboga, the empowerment of the boda gentleman, the empowerment of the hustlers, the empowerment of the ordinary citizen. It is not about sharing power.
Ruto was once expected to be President Uhuru Kenyatta's successor, but Kenyatta aligned himself with longtime rival Raila Odinga in 2018, and since then he's lost ground.
They said this was a constitutional moment. We told them no, this is an economic moment. They told us it is about changing the constitution. We told them no, it is about changing the economy. They told us it is about sharing positions. We told them no, it is about creating jobs for the young people of our nation.
Ruto has based much of his campaign on the idea of taking apart the old political order led by Kenyatta and Odinga and offering a helping hand to small businesses and poorer Kenyans. And that's where the bulk of his support comes from. He will create good business for the low-level business people like women who sell groceries, she says, hawkers who are always being harassed by the city council officers. He will serve us and fix the economy, and that's why we love him. I chose to support Ruto because I'm sure when he's elected on the 9th of August to be the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya, he will identify and fix the problems, he says. On Tuesday, as well as voting for the president, people will choose members of the National Assembly and Senate, county governors and members of the county assemblies. In contrast to the heat waves across Europe, people are skiing in Africa. The tiny mountain kingdom of Lesotho, completely surrounded by South Africa, is the only country on Earth where nowhere is less than 1,000 meters above sea level. And that means there's snow.
I was originally born in London, but I spent the last 12 years teaching skiing and snowboarding in Austria. And this is my first season riding the Southern Hemisphere, riding South Africa. But my family's from here, so it's kind of nostalgic that I got to ride in Lesotho soil, as my family's from here, so that's kind of a pleasure.
Cold winters aren't unusual in southern Africa, but snow is, and a frisky in Lesotho's Maluti Mountains is Africa's only operating ski resort south of the equator.
We are going on a class, a skiing class, and then after that we're just going to play in the snow and get some good pictures and play around and just mess around and just enjoy our time here.
Kapoko Snow Park is the only one of its kind in the whole of Africa and last month hosted the annual Winter Whip slopestyle snowboard and ski competition. On a busy day, the slope can host over 300 visitors.
I've been seeing a lot of ads on YouTube and I just thought I really want to try that. And I've never seen snow in my life, so this is it's a great experience.
The resort has 6 runs and operates between June and August. During the summer months, it offers a selection of extreme sport activities, including mountain biking and guided motorbike trips. Sudan is often viewed as a place of conflict, but the country also boasts unique attractions, from the confluence of the Blue and White Nile rivers to ancient temples and pyramids. And Sudan now wants to exploit the huge tourist potential. He says we have a strategic plan for 5 years in which we try to develop all our tourist destinations to a high standard with really good facilities. The region boasts a rich history of civilizations and remains, including 3 times the number of pyramids in Egypt. But Dr. Mohammed admits Sudan has suffered from a negative image. We're working very hard to promote Sudan at the international fairs, he says, but we realized that many people know Sudan as a place of conflict, especially with the Darfur issue. But if we look carefully at Sudan, it's more than 1 million square miles, and the tourist destinations are thousands of kilometers away from the place of conflict. Among other attractions, Sudan is the site of Meroe, the ancient capital of the Kushite kingdom, where there are hundreds of Nubian pyramids. An increasing number of visitors are appreciating the region's potential and treasures.
I think it's nice to come visit these more remote, tourist locations. It's obviously a different experience from being in the Western world, where you would have crowds of tourists.
The first of the huge pyramids in Meroe was built by King Achaemenides I over 2,200 years ago. At its peak, the rulers of Meroe controlled the Nile Valley north to south over a distance of more than 1,000 kilometers. Excavations have revealed evidence of important high-ranking Kushite burials from the Napatan period between 800 and 280 BCE. In June 2011, the archaeological sites of Meroe were listed by UNESCO as World Heritage Sites.